All right, the focus of my talk today is going to be on some different types of movements to alleviate pain in the groin area, in your adductor muscles, and to help your mobility in your hips for movements like squats, deadlifts, running, walking, and overall just having more freedom in your movement. So one of the really good exercises that I like to do prior to doing heavy squat days or deadlifts or on my off days is I will take a rubber band, like this big rubber band here, and I have it anchored. And what you want to do is you step one leg in here, slide it up high up on the thigh so that the pull is real near where your thigh bone inserts in your pelvis. What you want to do is get a little tension on this band here, and then real simply have your feet forward so that the hip bones are in good position. And what you want to do is bend the knees slightly, straighten back out. Bend, straighten. Work on this for about 10, 15, maybe 20 reps. And what you're essentially doing is you're putting some stress and pulling your femoral head forward now. After you finish that set, turn 90 degrees or a quarter turn. Get back out, put a little more tension again on the band, and you can bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Again, do this for anywhere from 10, 15, up to about 20 reps. And or as an alternative for this one, while keeping some tension on the band, I'll step in, out, in, out. So you're working the adductors by pulling against that tension. And then lastly, what you're going to do is turn around one more quarter turn, face straight ahead, and then again, feet forward, toes forward, bend the knees, extend, bend, extend. And what you're doing here now is you're pulling that femur backward, the opposite direction of what you were doing when you were facing the machine. What this is doing is we walk around all the time and the weight of our upper body jams the head of our thigh bones or our femurs up into our pelvis. And by doing that movement against the band, you're pulling those out and getting them back to be more mobile. Your hip and your thigh is a lot like your shoulder joint. It's a ball and socket and should be able to move in 3 planes of movement, which means it should be able to go forward and back, side to side laterally, or abduction and adduction, as well as rotation around its own axis. You can also do circumduction here, which is good, but what happens in a lot of people, especially if you have pain, is those hips probably aren't moving and as mobile and functional as they should be. So this is one exercise that works real good. Again, I'll show you on the right leg just briefly. You come in here, make sure when you're setting up for the guys, you don't get your junk stuck in the band. That's not a whole lot of fun. And you're gonna have your toes forward, tension on the band, little deep bend, straighten back out. Really forcefully pull against that so you feel that band pulling that leg forward, okay? Second move I do, you want it pulling outward on your leg. So it's pulling it out laterally, and what you're gonna do is bend and straighten, bend and straighten. Okay, last one here, you turn around, face forward. So now the thigh bone's getting pulled back, bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Typically I like to do that somewhere between 10 and 20 repetitions, and I'll do it probably 2 times on each leg. So that's using the resistance band to get a little more mobility and release those femoral heads. Now, to address those ab and adductor muscles, the groin, hip mobility, another exercise that's real simple to do. Start with your feet forward, about shoulder width apart. And what I want to do is some isometric movement here. With the knees slightly bent, I want you to adduct your thighs or try to pull them like you're closing a pair of scissors, both inward. Okay, you're going to squeeze in real hard. You can even tighten up all your muscles if you want. That allow you to squeeze even harder. Make sure that you're breathing, but you're continually squeezing in, squeezing in, squeezing in, and then relax. Okay, you hold for about 10 to 12 seconds. Keep that knee bend, and now what you're going to do is push them out laterally or perform adduction of both of your thighs isometrically. So while I'm keeping good weight in my feet, I don't want you to feel like you're rolling out of your big toes onto the sides of your feet. Push out, push out, push out. Let those thighs press towards the side. We're doing isometric abduction here. And we're working, 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 working. Somewhere around 10 seconds or so, and then relax. And you can repeat that. What I'm going to do for the sake of demonstration, you can work positions within about 5 degrees, doing 2-3 repetitions with those tension holds before you move to a bigger angle, okay? But you can go to all different sorts. You could stagger your feet, but right now I'm just gonna work with the feet equal forward to back and just go a little wider, okay? So again, little knee bend here, toes are pointing ahead, and I'm gonna adduct first. I'm gonna squeeze in, keep squeezing. Make sure that you're breathing and really tighten up, and relax, okay? What's next? Same position, abduct. So we're gonna push out with the thighs, push out. Make sure you breathe. Very good. Now, if that feels pretty good, you don't feel any pain through the groin area, you could try if you want to. Now, this isn't a normal position, hopefully, when you're moving. However, if you're doing something like a sumo deadlift, you don't want to have your toes necessarily forward and be way out here, because now your forces that are going on are in the kind of awkward positions. So you want your toes and your knees, your ankles and your knees to be hinging in the same plane. So you could work to a turnout position here. And again, now what we're going to do is imagine you're pulling both of these legs because of the angle in and back towards you. So the thigh bones are trying to pull straight in and close here. You're going to hold that. You can squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Make sure you're breathing. And relax. So if we go in, we also want to go out. So here now, make sure that you're ready. You're going to push those legs out like you're trying to go into a splits, but you don't want to allow any motion. You're holding this isometric tension. And you're pressing out, breathing, 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 and relax. So that gives you an idea how to do some isometric ab and adduction stance work, which is also very good for muscle activation of the legs on the upper thigh, inner outer thigh, as well as, like I said, helping mobility around the hips and alleviating some pain in that region, okay?